From a cone-shaped egg to tiny golden beads, here are the most unique animal eggs in the world. Imagine you are standing on a beach. You're looking closely at these little black bags that remind you of bats, all the while wanting to know what could possibly be inside, right? But the closer you look, the more you realize that it's not some kind of bat, but something else. You then decide to ask the fisherman who is there, and he answers you that they are actually ray egg capsules. You're really surprised. Indeed, the rays lay their eggs in these capsules, which are then thrown back by the sea as soon as the baby ray decides to come out. Moreover, these ray egg capsules are particularly abundant on some beaches, and they are often mistaken for seaweed. In addition, you also learn that scientists often collect these capsules on beaches in order to better study the different species of rays that exist in the world. Now that's interesting. On the other hand, you felt a little disappointed to see empty capsules without being able to see any baby rays inside. But at least you have a capsule in your hands and you can touch it. You'll remember that for a long time, won't you? You may not have seen those little oval clear eggs that are hanging wisely on that plant and well separated before, right? Well, those are the eggs of the lacewing, a species of long green insect also known as the golden-eyed fly or golden-eyed damsel. Of course, these eggs need the right conditions for their development. But with their size of less than a millimeter and their position on a thin wire, these small eggs are confronted with many predators, and this makes them quite fragile. Well, not always, because these eggs resist and develop little by little until the larvae succeed in leaving their shell. But this exit from the egg makes them very hungry. Fortunately, these voracious little larvae have plenty to satisfy their appetite, thanks to the aphids and other creatures that populate the garden. With the right diet, these larvae will continually transform into beautiful damsels with golden eyes. Who would have said that this magnificent insect was originally a tiny egg hanging from a thread? This morning, while you were in your garden, you were tempted to water your plants a little. But what did you see all of a sudden? Several little yellow balls on a green leaf. So you went a little closer to see what it could be. That's when you discovered a ladybug on the same leaf. And then everything became clear in your head. Yes, these are ladybug eggs. That's really nice. Nevertheless, your wonderment quickly gave way to a feeling of fear because your position, very close to the small eggs, finally annoyed the little seven-pointed beast which raised its wings to come towards you and try to chase you, which made you take your legs and run away. But you came back a few minutes later, being careful not to get too close to Mom Ladybug and her future babies. Not only were you more and more impressed with these beautiful little yellow eggs, but you were also determined to follow their development every day. Are you preparing a presentation on butterfly reproduction for your next class? Good for you! But for your research to be complete, you want to find the best butterfly egg photos on the internet. What could be more normal? Except that, while you're surfing the web looking for these pictures, you come across this one. Here are some very strange eggs. You then bring your eyes closer to your screen in order to better see these black eggs in the shape of rings arranged on a sheet of paper, which are less than a millimeter in size and which look more like buttons. Then comes the stage where you start looking for the species of butterfly that may have laid these strange eggs. By chance, you manage to find it. Indeed, it is a species of butterfly called Morio butterfly. Well, it took you a lot of time and effort to find the name of this butterfly. But it doesn't matter, as long as you manage to find the progenitor of these little eggs. In fact, this research has made you want to go and find a real specimen in the wild so that you can present it during your presentation. You have been interested in Mediterranean insects for quite some time and you want to know the shape of the eggs of each species. But lately, you are very surprised to learn that one of these species can lay golden eggs. Yes, golden eggs. Even if you didn't believe it at first, you're right. Golden eggs don't exist. You decided to do some research to find out what kind of insects could lay such colored eggs. The answers soon appeared on the web. This insect is none other than the bedbug. Ugh. This information immediately gave you the shivers because you are scared to death of bedbugs. However, despite your horror, you continued your research and even deigned to take a look at this insect that prefers to lay its golden eggs on the backs of its fellow creatures. These eggs will spend some time on the back of their mother or father carrier before finding refuge on a host plant. Isn't that interesting? Admit that you felt a bit amazed despite everything. You know sharks well because you have already seen at least one in your life, on TV or on the internet of course. But you've been wondering for a long time what shark eggs look like. And of course, you want to see them. You know in advance that it's not going to be very easy for you to find a shark egg on a beach. But with a few searches on the internet, you finally manage to find a picture of an egg of one of the species, the bull shark, also called Port Jackson shark. Take a look at this cone-shaped egg. What a strange shape. You will also learn that the female of this species, endemic to Australia, generally lays 2 eggs every 10 to 14 days between August and October, and that the spirals surrounding the egg serve to wedge it against the crevices where it is deposited, to hatch after 9 to 12 months. Of course, you are very happy to have found all this information. However, seeing this egg swirling around made you dizzy. Fortunately, it's just a picture on the internet, you tell yourself, and that helps you to come to your senses a bit. On the other hand, you can't deny that after seeing this egg shape, you are even more afraid of sharks. The female monarch butterfly has a habit of laying hundreds of eggs in a few weeks. Like any animal species on Earth, this mother needs to protect her little eggs from predators. This goes without saying. Unlike other species, the female monarch butterfly has a hard egg shell. Indeed, this shell is formed in her body well before fertilization. Once the eggs are laid, the female attaches them to the surface of a leaf, usually milkweed, using a kind of glue that she secretes. In this way, she succeeds in protecting her eggs, which are then firmly attached to the plant that will later serve as their food. Moreover, these small eggs are already covered with a layer of wax, which preserves them from drying out. Look at these beautiful clear eggs with their nice stripes. They are as tiny as pinheads, but imagine the effort that mother monarch must make in laying each egg on a plant, because it is what she generally does. It can tire her a little, but this female can finally find her breath as soon as her little eggs hatch, after 3 to 5 days. Thanks to its mode of reproduction, but especially its so particular eggs, the female of the monarch butterfly became a very fascinating specimen for the scientists. Imagine that you were sitting comfortably on your couch watching a documentary about crop pests, but at some point, you suddenly feel like changing the channel when an image suddenly catches your attention. Suddenly curious about these little white beads that look like pearls with 2 red eyes that seem to be looking at you. You turn off the TV, determined to find out what it is. Then you learn that these scary little beads are the eggs of the devil bug, an invasive species of Asian origin that is harmful to crops, vegetable gardens, and even ornamental plants. You're all ears and scared by what you've just heard and seen. But fortunately, this bug does not exist everywhere, and it is unlikely that it will ever cross your path. Phew! But no matter how reassured you are, you can't shake the image of those little eggs with devilish eyes. This bug lives up to its name. The other day, you were walking through a wood where you hoped to find some mushrooms. But instead of mushrooms, you came across some eggs covered with white fluffy down and lying on the ground. Initially believing that a hen or some wild bird was behind laying the eggs, you went over to pick them up, but noticed that there were much larger eggs next to them, and even mushrooms. This enlightened you and allowed you to guess that they were not eggs, but a kind of mushroom. Obviously, your discovery suddenly worried you, thinking that you had in your hand some poisonous mushroom. However, you quickly regained your composure by quickly doing some research on the internet and learning that this mushroom called Caesar's mushroom, which looks like an egg during one of its development phases, is edible and even highly sought after and highly prized by chefs. Well, this suddenly made you want to go to a gourmet restaurant to eat some. You have just discovered some unique animal eggs. Which one surprised you the most? Do you know of any other animal species whose eggs are as strange as the ones you just saw in today's video? Leave us your answers and impressions in the comments. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.